happy Monday everybody. It's the 21st of November today, and today is the first day in a very long time that I've felt like I've wanted to pick up my camera and film. I've just been feeling really down over the last couple of weeks, and it's definitely been that familiar sort of cloud of depression. It's something that I've suffered with throughout many stages in my life, so it's not something that's new. I totally recognise it for what it is, which is good, because although I do feel very down and it's still very difficult and very hard, and it's just not a nice sort of place or mindset to be in, I know that it's just temporary. So yeah, I kind of started feeling better from last week, and kind of had in my head I'd really like to start filming again from Monday, because although it's not like a complete reset or restart, I am sort of like trying to embrace some better, healthier habits from today. So I thought it would fit in really well with that. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I'm feeling much better, and I'm able to sort of like start filming again and documenting this wellness journey. So today, what is the time? It's currently a couple of minutes to 1, so it's quite late in the day, but I have been sort of tidying up, and I've had a nice shower. I did a little bit of work this morning, but yeah, just mainly I'm seeing today as kind of a bit of a sort of get things organised, get a bit prepared for the week ahead. I know it's Monday, but it kind of feels like my Sunday. So yeah, that's the plan for today really. So I've had a bit of a tidy round, got myself ready. So last night I was thinking ahead to sort of like this week, and things that I would like to do to sort of like get myself into a better routine, just sort of eating better, just feeling better overall. And I decided that I wanted to sort of somewhat pre-plan what I was going to eat. So I am still doing my HelloFresh, so that was good. That was a big tick. And that I always have my HelloFresh delivered on a Monday, so I knew that teas are sorted. However, with my lunches I've been a bit sporadic and just sort of grabbing something, and you know, just kind of thinking, well, I could probably do a bit better with that. So I placed a little Ocado order yesterday for some ingredients for lunches and breakfasts and what have you. So that came, I actually thought yesterday me was like, place the order for sort of between 6 and 7, and that will get me up and sort of raring to go for the day. However, my alarm went off at 6 this morning, and I was just like, no, I'm far too comfy. I'm enjoying this moment in bed too much to get out. Snoozed my alarm, and then I woke up again at 7:10, and I looked at my phone and thought, oh, I've missed my delivery. What a fool. But when I checked the notifications on Ocado, all the stars aligned for me this morning, because my delivery driver was running 15 minutes late. So hopped out of bed, went downstairs, 5 minutes later, my delivery came. So that's great. I hope that's a sign of sort of my luck changing, or just, you know, a really kind of positive start. I got my lie-in, I didn't miss my delivery, all is well. And yeah, so my HelloFresh order's just arrived as well, so I thought I would show you sort of the meals I've got planned for this week and talk you through what I bought. So I'm gonna start off by showing the few bits that I picked up from Ocado. I was actually really shocked, because when I had the idea, I thought I want to get my breakfasts and lunches sort of pre-prepared. It was quite late in the day, and obviously a Sunday, and I thought there's no way there's going to be any delivery slots available on Ocado, but there were, and it was free delivery, so I was super happy about that. So I grabbed some bananas with the idea just to take them with me as a snack, or to pop on top of some yogurt and granola. I got these low carb protein tortillas. So they've got 20 grams of protein per 100 gram. Let's have a look and see if I can read the calories and whatnot. So they are 112 calories per 40 gram tortilla, and they have 4 grams of carbs. I'm not super sure, sort of like in comparison with a normal sort of whole wheat flour tortilla, what the difference is, but I'm assuming, I'm hoping that they are a lot lower. So I got them with the idea to have them with my breakfast. I grabbed a pot of the Cocos organic yogurt. This stuff is just a dream. A couple of you guys who have been following along since the very beginning will remember I've had this a couple of times and I rave on about it. It's so super yummy. So the idea for this is to have it on an evening with a little bit of like granola and some berries or some fruit. I'm kind of thinking of it will somewhat resemble the consistency of like cheesecake, with the granola being like the crumbly crumb base. I did have an idea as well. There's a yogurt. I don't for the life of me know how to pronounce the name of the brand of yogurt, but I've had it before, and it's a baked apple flavour, and when I tell you it tastes like an apple crumble, it's unbelievable. I just don't know how they do it. It's so good. And I thought I'm going to make myself like a mock-up apple crumble. So get some granola, crush it in like a pestle and mortar, and then just layer it. I think that would be delicious. But they didn't have that, so I thought, you know what, the coconut one is super yummy, so I'm going to get that. I just got some mature cheddar cheese. I am a big cheese fan. I could literally have it on everything, and kind of thinking around the idea of like snacks and breakfast. I've got a bit of a recipe I want to try. I did also order some eggs, but they are in my cupboard in their little egg box because one of them broke, so I had to like wipe them and put them away. But yeah, I ordered some eggs because I'm really fancying having like eggs and bacon for breakfast, and I want to try and make, I've seen it done before, I'm not 100% sure how it works or what happens, but you kind of make an omelette and then put sort of like a filling in it. So I'm going to put a couple of pieces of bacon, maybe a little bit of cheese, and then you put the tortilla wrap over the top, and then you flip it over and then you wrap it up. And that just sounds like a bit of me. So I'm going to try that. I haven't actually eaten anything yet. I've had an Actimel yogurt? Is that what they're called? Actimel yogurt. And a cup of coffee. But I haven't had any food. Because last night I had a really big bowl of an amazing beef stew that Jim made. And I think it's just kept me really full. So I'm going to have the sort of, what would you even describe that as? An omelette wrap? I don't know. I'm gonna have that as sort of lunch, breakfast, brunchy once I've finished showing you what I got from Ocado and in my HelloFresh box. So I obviously picked up some bacon. I decided to try the Better Naked without any nitrates or any other nasties. They were on offer. I think it was 2 packs for £4 or something like that. So for my work lunches, I used to have like a microwave meal when it got to like this time of year, and at a time when I was previously trying to lose weight and be a bit healthier, it really helped, which is funny because I was speaking to Laura about this and she said the same thing. So I decided I was going to get some sort of ready meals. I know they're not like classed as the healthiest thing in the world, but I'm not really that bothered. So I decided to go with the M&S Count on Us range, and I got a 4-cheese ravioli with rich tomato and basil sauce, and this is 358 calories per pack. And I was just thinking, do you know what, when it gets this time of year, you want something warm and quite like filling and cozy, and I just thought, I don't know how happy I'm going to be taking like a salad or something, and I feel like they're quite substantial in consideration to what I would normally have for my lunch, so I'm going to give it a go and see how I get on. I got the chili con carne and rice, and this is 312 calories per pack. And I also got a little beef lasagna. Who does not love a beef lasagna? They are delicious. And this is 347 calories for the pack. I mean, I find that quite ridiculous that these are so low calorie. I'm thinking they can't possibly taste that good, but we'll see. We'll give them a try. I feel like they have, I don't know what these smart points are that they have. Possibly something to do with Weight Watchers or Slimming World. But if you do that and that's your jam, they have the points on them as well, which is quite handy. I saw these and I was just sucked in by marketing, really, because I thought they sounded absolutely delicious. So they're called, they're actually a ketogenic nut bar, and the company is Fat. And the flavours I got was caramel and sea salt and coconut and macadamia. And these have, this one has 2 grams of carbs and this one has 3 grams of carbs. And the high fibre, prebiotic, no palm oil, never any sweeteners. So seem like a good natural bar. I don't know what the calories are though. Let's have a look. Where are the calories? I cannot find them, I'm sorry. Oh, that is impossible to read. I don't know if you can see, but it's on the corrugated bit of the wrapper, so I'm not going to be able to tell you the calories for them, I'm very sorry. Got some jazz apples, one of my favourite varieties of apple at the moment, and they're in season, which is good. Some easy peelers. Just thought I can grab some fruit, throw it in my bag if I'm going out and about, get a bit peckish, then it's there, you know, don't have to pop into a shop and make a decision ad lib. So I love kombucha, it's very delicious, I very much enjoy it. So I picked up a couple of bottles of the elderflower and lemon flavour. Yeah, love it, kombucha. Great. So I'm just going to pop this in the fridge and then I will show you the main meals I have planned for this week. So I am still very much loving the HelloFresh meals. Really tasty and really, really convenient. So something that I like to do when my box arrives is take out because the proteins, the meats and fish will, well, anything that needs to be refrigerated really, will arrive in a separate bag to the ingredients for the meal. So what I like to do is get all the bags out and check that all the ingredients are there, because occasionally something can be missing. Now, this is not my first rodeo, so I've learned from sort of like the first week, because the first week I didn't do it. I've just knocked over my tea and coffee. The first week I didn't do it, and one of the ingredients were missing, so it kind of fudged things up a little bit. So I like to do this now, and then if anything is missing, I can just simply pop onto the HelloFresh app and then it will say, was everything okay with your delivery? And if something's missing, you can very easily just click no, this was missing or this was missing, and then they'll sort of give you credit to spend basically, and then you can just go out and say if it's a lime, you can just pick up a lime and have that meal another night or something. So it is quite easy to, so if there is something missing, it's not like the end of the world. So I will just go through the meals that I've picked, and I do always pick my meals myself. I don't know whether it's because I'm such a control freak, but I like to know that everything is something that myself and Jim are going to enjoy, and I like to sort of look at the calories and the ingredients and things like that. If there's something that I really want to try and it's above the, so I guess our lower calorie meals are grouped into the under 650 calorie range, But sometimes there might be something that like looks utterly delicious and I'm like, right, I don't care if it's 800 calories or whatever, I want to try it. But some of the stuff is really, really, really high calorie. Like for instance, it could be 1500 and stuff like that. If you're somebody that works out every day and you've got a very active job and you know, you're not so concerned about what you consume and it doesn't matter. However, I'm on a wellness weight loss journey and it's important, so I like to make sure that I know what I'm having, I'm going to enjoy it, and it's not going to mess up my sort of caloric intake for that day. So the meals that I've picked this week are the sweet and sticky chicken on rice with bell pepper, onion and sesame seeds. So this takes 25 to 30 minutes to make, and all the ingredients are listed down here. And then on the back, just a little sort of like quick and easy 6-step recipe. That looks so good. I'm so hungry right now. I could like eat all of these meals right now. I also chose the herby chicken with red onion mash and garlicky beans. Anything that's got the word garlicky on it, I am sold. Oh, I'll tell you the calories actually for each meal. So the first one is 613 calories, that one. The herby chicken is 535 calories. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh, that's interesting. I must have ordered this. That's confusing. I don't know why I've got 2 recipe cards for that. I must have ordered 2 portions so that I can have it with Millie and Joe. This is, oh, honestly, guys, like I'm obsessed with lentil dals at the moment, and I think this is one of the ones that I had in one of the first weeks that I started trying HelloFresh, and I cannot even tell you how good it was. So this is the red lentil and spinach dal with roasted aubergine and basmati rice. It takes 40 to 45 minutes, and it's got 3 of your 5 a day. So good. Cannot even tell you how obsessed I am with the lentil dals. I have made them before, but there's just nothing. It's like I've gone to like a really lovely little sort of Indian restaurant or something. So delicious. So this is 614 calories per portion. And then this is also something, I think I've had this before. It's the veggie laksa soup with mushrooms and bell peppers. So this takes 25 to 30 minutes to make. Look at that, so good, so good. And it is 569 calories. One of the things that I have learned through making the HelloFresh meals is how ridiculously delicious coconut milk is. I feel like if I ever make a curry or, I don't know, something that anything Thai based, yeah, coconut milk is just like a whole other level of flavour, and it's just so good, so good. So that is something that I have learned. So might be a bit difficult to do this here, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all the bags. So basically the meals come in little bags like this, and then the number on the packet corresponds to the number on the recipe. So if you wanted to make this tonight, you would just look at your bags, find number 20. Don't know where that is. There it is, one that I held up. And yeah, it's all in there, it's all good to go. But like I said, what I like to do is just grab the bag and the recipe, look at the ingredients I should have, take them out, tick them off, and be like, yeah, everything's there, everything's ready to go. And then if there is anything missing, I can pick it up ahead of time, and I'm not last minute like running out trying to find some really randomly weird ingredient. So yeah, I'm just gonna quickly check this now, and I guess you'll see me when I'm making my lunch. Oh my god, that was so delicious. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting that. It was so good. It was so good. It ended up being quite high in calorie. I think it was like 550. I also added a little bit of tomato ketchup on the side, which was a great addition, but it already had a bit of like a tomatoey flavour because of these tomato protein tortillas. It was a delight. I'm so happy I made that because it was so good. Had a little bit of a almost a meltdown halfway through because my bacon was on the grill and I could kind of see something in my peripheral vision, like little sparks, and I was like, what on earth is that? I had a look and my bacon was about to set on fire, which would have been ridiculous. So had to quickly whip that out of the oven. But yeah, very tasty, very, very tasty. So it is now 2:15, and one of the sort of new healthy habits I want to get into the routine of doing is doing something every day to sort of keep my wellness journey in the forefront of my mind. So how I'm going to do that is every day I want to do sort of some reading of some form that will contribute towards sort of like my knowledge or understanding of sort of like the why I eat the way I do, and why I have this kind of distorted relationship with food. Now, my approach, or sort of like my whole journey, isn't as sort of black and white as I suppose your normal person's weight loss journey will be. So I guess in a normal, although there isn't really a normal approach because everyone is completely different, but you know, a lot of people out there, or a lot of people that I've followed on Instagram or watch on YouTube, have, you know, quite sort of a straightforward linear journey where they go, I want to lose weight, and they start counting the calories, start working out, and then, you know, everything just falls into place and it goes really well. And I suppose I was really hoping that that would be the case for me. However, I've had a really, really long history with sort of disordered eating. I'm going to be speaking about sort of binge eating and eating disorders and that kind of thing. So if that kind of thing triggers you, feel free to skip past this part. But you know, I can't really share my journey to sort of health and wellness and fitness without really speaking about it, because it is the thing that I need to do in order to make progress and succeed. So yeah, I've had, you know, the majority of my life I've had a sort of distorted relationship with food. I've used food for comfort. It was like one of my very first coping mechanisms to sort of make me feel happy. I guess that's the only legible thing I can say in order to describe it. And ever since being a very, very young child, I have just enjoyed eating and not really had any kind of trigger within myself to stop eating at a certain point, or think I shouldn't really be doing this, or that kind of thing. So I've kind of gained this unconscious way of living, which isn't, you know, isn't progressive to the idea of who I want to be, because I want to be healthy and I don't want to be overweight, you know. So I've been on this weight loss journey now almost 2 years, and I haven't really made much progress when it comes down to sort of like the actual number on the scale. That really hasn't changed so dramatically. I've had periods where I've been really on it, and you know, I've maybe lost like 1.5 stone to 2 stone, and then it's kind of crept back up and gone back down and crept back up and gone back down. But in a nutshell, over the last 2 years I've been sort of like going up and down the same amount, and sometimes like really putting my full attention and effort into doing it, and you know, being very strict on some occasions, working out every day for months on end and that kind of thing. But the fact of the matter is, I always end up back at the same point, and this isn't sort of this hasn't always happened, you know. I was a lot bigger when I was a child, and also sort of like the ages of 12, 13, 14, I was you know, a lot heavier than I even am now. And then things changed somewhat, you know, over the years of being between sort of 15 and like 19 into my early 20s. I did lose a lot of weight, and I maintained that weight loss. I was around 11 stone, and I know that seems still quite heavy, but obviously recently discovering that I've got lipedema, that kind of makes sense now, because I was throughout them periods doing pretty much everything right, and I believe if I was to go any sort of like further from 11 stone, I would literally have not eaten anything. So yeah, if you don't know what lipedema is, it's a whole other subject. Sorry, it's a condition I've got, and it's a connective tissue disorder. There is a video that I've made on it. If you're interested in like finding out what it is and blah blah blah, then I'll try and pop a card up here so that you can have a look. But for now, I'm not trying to really focus on that, and I'm trying to just purely focus on my subconscious beliefs, and the thing that I always go back to, which I think is just how I've conditioned myself to be towards food. And I think a lot more people struggle with this than we think. I do truly believe that although everyone's journey and every person is so uniquely individual, I do think that it is something that affects a lot of people, and that's one of the reasons that I find sort of like documenting this so important, because it's such a lonely place. And I think when you are that person that's struggling quite a lot, and you know, you do try but you don't feel like you're making any progress, and you go on YouTube to see, or Instagram or whatever, to see sort of like people's journey for inspiration, I think sometimes it can be really, really harsh to have that as a reflection of yours, because I think struggling with food, and especially if you are somebody who has struggled with binge eating or eating disorders, that sort of like you're on the spectrum where you are overeating and you're overweight, and it's still an eating disorder, and it's still you know, a mental health condition, and I think it should have as much weight and respect in society just as much as anorexia does. But I think because we live in this society of, you know, fat phobia, and I think it pushes us into a mindset where we're very embarrassed about it, and it's like this dirty secret that you don't really want to sit down and talk to people about. I know from my point of view, I find it really, really embarrassing and very uncomfortable to talk about, because I think if I was to describe what I think people would view me as, it's like, well, you're just greedy and lazy and all these other horrible words to describe it, when in actual fact I've got a problem that I can't, it's not like I've chosen to have it, it's just there. And I think because it's quite sort of embarrassing and things, and also all that aside, I don't think there's as much help available for people who suffer with eating disorders on the scale of, you know, you're overeating or you're heavier, because I think the only thing that's available is when it gets so sort of like out of control that you are severely obese, and then the NHS and the doctor will say, well, how about weight loss surgery? And then they remove half your stomach and you physically can't eat anymore. But that part of why it happened in the first place isn't healed. You know, you might not have the physical ability to binge, but you still have the same feelings, and I think that's, you know, incredibly sad. And I know I'm not like dismissing weight loss surgery, because I think it's fantastic for people who feel like that is the answer. And actually, you know, it's something I've considered for myself, purely because I really struggle with the fact that this is something that I so desperately want. It's not like a need to be skinny or a need to be like, yeah, I'm so thin and beautiful. It's nothing to do with that. It's just because I hold health and fitness very highly in my morals of who I want to be. I think it's just like, well, if I did that, it would fix the problem. I wouldn't be able to eat, and then that would be that. But I know that wouldn't work for me, because when and like I say, it's quite like a subconscious kind of thing that happens, and I don't think a lot of the time I'm truly conscious about what I'm doing. But say for instance, if, you know, I've been doing really well, and then I refer to it as like falling off the bandwagon or whatever, but when that happens, it truly does feel like I'm just on like an autopilot, and I'm not truly thinking about what I'm doing. And I would like to try and gain an understanding of that, because I think that is the sort of essence of how I am going to get to the place I want to be. So a couple of things that I've done to try and help with that, because, you know, I'm pretty sure there will be psychologists and psychiatrists out there that, you know, specialise in this kind of thing, but I just don't have the spare money to dedicate to that, and I'd love to do that. I'd find it extremely fascinating. But another thing is as well, there is that embarrassment and shame there too, about feeling like I don't know how comfortable I would be about talking about these certain subjects. I have been through therapy before, but I don't think it helped in relation to this. So I ordered a couple of books a couple of months ago, and I did show them in a video. One of them was the Heal Your Relationship with Food. This is an effective strategies to help you think differently and overcome problems with eating, emotions, and body image. And then the other one that I got was the DBT Solution for Emotional Eating, a proven program to break the cycle of binging and out of control eating. So I've actually read a fair amount of this. I think I've read this much. It's a really good book, but I chose to read this first as like my before bed book, and I didn't realise that it has like exercises in it to do. And when I picked it up and I was reading through, I think I read through like the first chapter, and there were no exercises, and then I got into chapter 2 and I was like, oh, I have to write stuff down. And it was like the middle of the night. I didn't want to get up out of bed and wake up Jim and turn, you know, the light brighter and sit up and start writing. So I just continued to read it, and I know that sounds really silly. But there are a lot of, I don't know if you can, that's not showing you, but there's a lot of exercises to be done and bits to be filled in. So I decided today that I was gonna stop reading this one and pick this one up, and these books are going to be something that I'd like to do on a morning. So I'll wake up, make myself a cup of tea, and maybe read a good few pages of this in the morning, and then once I've finished this, I'll then move back to this one. And then before bed, I'm going to find a new book to start reading that doesn't have exercises or things that need to be filled in, so that I can just read it and then go to bed. So I thought I would try and share this journey with you, because I do think it's like the most important thing that I'm going to overcome. And I've had a lot of sort of like things in my life that I've had great success with giving up, or where, you know, substances, and or even on a positive note, like set myself a challenge, or, you know, I want to go to uni, I want to do this and get the degree, I want to have my own business and blah blah blah. And a lot of the time when I set my mind to something, I do achieve it. And this is something that I find incredibly frustrating, that, you know, I've said it and I've put it out into the universe and I've shared it on my channel, and yeah, here I am almost 2 years later, not seeming to have made any success. But I have made success in other areas, and I think this is something else too, that's an important message to share, because especially for if you are listening to me now and you think, yeah, I completely relate with what she's saying, that sounds exactly like me, this isn't going to be a quick fix. And I think that's something that, you know, we need to just acknowledge and accept. It's not going to be as simple as downloading MyFitnessPal, setting yourself a 1500 calorie goal, sticking to that every day, working out 3 times a week, and then, you know, years time you've lost like 4 stone or whatever. It's just not. And I think I kept getting caught up in that idea that, you know, just kind of doing what society says is the right way and the right approach to lose weight, because that's not me. And I do have a lot of things that I need to sort of like become aware of, and it's just going to take time. And I think the most important thing is to just not give up. It doesn't matter how many times you do it, how many times you say, right, Monday I'm going to start again, today I'm going to start again. It doesn't matter whether you've done it 10 times over, 100 times over, as long as you are saying to yourself, I'm going to try again, and I'm going to try again, because eventually it will work. You've just got to keep working on yourself. You haven't failed because you are still trying. And that, I think that sometimes I'll think to myself, oh, I need to come off YouTube and stop doing my Instagram and whatever, because like, look at, I'm just showing everybody how much of a failure I am. But it's so silly to think that way, because I haven't failed, I haven't given up, I'm still here and I'm still trying. And I know, you know, it's shame and embarrassment is a huge thing to overcome, and like, you know, just park that at the side while you switch the camera on, try again, and, you know, say, here I am. But yeah, we haven't failed because we haven't given up. So that's that. And yeah, I just thought I would share as much of this as possible. I'm not gonna just sit and read this entire book to you, because that would be very, very long videos. If you want to order this book and do it along with me, I got it from Amazon. It's just the DBT solution for emotional eating. If you pop this into Amazon, order it, get it, and maybe we can do it together. So I thought I would just read a little bit of the introduction, so you had a bit of an idea of what it's all about. So, introduction. So it says, my eating is out of control. I never seem to get full. Sometimes I'm in control of my eating, and other times I totally lose it. It's like there's a switch that gets turned on or off. When I get overwhelmed, I feel I have to eat. Our relationship with food has a huge impact on the quality of our lives. It can also be quite complicated. In the most straightforward way, food is the fuel our bodies need to keep us alive. But anyone who battles with out of control eating knows it isn't quite that simple. Eating is tied to a host of emotions ranging from great pleasure to deep distress. If you've picked up this book, it's very likely your relationship with food is interfering with the life you want to live and that you're looking for tools to help. So, welcome to the DBT solution for emotional eating. We would like to welcome you to the program. There's free psychologists, so there's doctors and psychologists that have written this book. It's 3 of them. So we'd like to welcome you to the program. The 3 of us specialise in treating patients with eating disorders. Actually, I'm not going to read that. It's just basically a little sort of introduction to who it is that has written the book, and then the program is the program a good fit for you? So in a nutshell, the book covers binge eating, emotional eating, compulsive overeating, stress eating, overeating, eating addictions, comfort eating, out of control eating. They just say that they don't get too caught up in the specific terms or labels, because when it comes down to it, our patients are struggling and need help. Whenever you relate to the terms above or have a different way of thinking about your relationship with food, we ask you to consider how well some of these statements made by our patients fit you. So then there's a couple of statements that their real life patients have made. So, there's something wrong with me. I'm not like other people who eat when they are hungry and stop when they're full. I'm never satisfied with normal amounts. I always want more. Tick. Food always seems to call me. There is no such thing as taking just a taste. Tick. Sometimes during a binge I feel like I'm in a trance. Then afterwards I feel awful. I'm embarrassed, demoralised, scared, exhausted, angry and ashamed. You name it. I vow to myself I'll stop, and I never do it, and I'll never do it again. I'll even leave tissues on the floor from my tears, but I'll just step over them the next day and do it again. Or maybe I'll stop for a while, but I always end up binge eating again, sooner or later. I hear a lot about being addicted to food. I think there probably are foods I'm addicted to. I'm not sure I even really like food. Food scares me, but I seem to need it to cope with my life. It's not so much its comfort, but a distraction that helps me numb it out. Oh, that's very interesting. That statement resonated to me for some reason, and I can't put my finger on exactly why, but it did. I'm really frightened about how unhealthy my eating is and how much it's harming my body. I'm afraid that if I continue to misuse food, I won't live up to my potential, that I'll never really be happy or at peace with myself. I wonder, can I actually change? I know all of the reasons to change, but I've tried so many times and there is never anything that feels quite as good as food. I don't know if I have the motivation. Tick. So then it basically goes through, it says, if any of these statements sound familiar, this program has been designed for you. So if you've listened to that and gone, yeah, that sounds like me, then that's what this book is all about, is to try and sort of help you understand why you feel the way you do and just give you a little bit of an insight. And then throughout this book there are exercises to do. So obviously it's something that should be done when you can like sort of just dedicate a little bit of time to yourself. So let's have a look. I'm just cautious that I don't want to read just read to you, but I do really want to share this journey, and sort of if I feel like it's insightful, share that with you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to read through the introduction myself, and then if I see anything that I think's particularly interesting or worth sharing, I will. And then when it comes to the sort of exercises, I will do my best to share as much of that as possible. Like I say, sometimes I think it's quite I don't want to use the word embarrassing, but it puts me in a very vulnerable state, and I don't know what it's going to bring up or what I'm going to feel. So I'm going to share as much as I feel comfortable with. I'm sure you'll all understand that. So yeah, I'm going to go read a little bit of this now. So I've just been reading through the introduction in a little bit more detail, and I thought it was important to say, which I forgot to mention before, that I don't currently binge eat. Now, I did for quite some time, quite a number of years. I was suffering with a binging and purging disorder. So I would plan to eat a lot of food in a very sort of like out of control, black, like a mist would come over way, and yeah, I did that for a very long time, but I don't actually do that anymore. I managed to break that cycle, and I've been sort of like binge and purge free for over a year now, which is great. So you might be wondering why I'm reading a book about stopping binge eating, and it's not necessarily that I sit down and I think, okay, I'm gonna order myself a pizza and, you know, all the sides, and then I'm gonna have a full tub of ice cream, and then I'm gonna have some cookies or whatever. It's that I definitely have periods where I will eat in a certain way that doesn't correspond with how I am sort of trying to live my life in sort of like a very healthy, nutritious way. And there's just this out of controlness that I'll sort of like think back to the previous day and go, well, why did I do that? And it's not necessarily the fact that I'm sitting down and having sort of like a Big Mac meal and a chicken burger and a milkshake and Subway, and, you know, I'm not binging. It can be something as simple, or maybe I am, I don't know. This is the thing, I'm a bit confused by it, because it'll just be sort of like eating mindlessly is probably the best way to describe it. So it's not that I'm getting like a packet of biscuits out of the cupboard or, you know, whatever, and just eating it one after the other. It'll be like picking at things, and sort of I'm tracking that day, and I'll think I'm gonna have a little bit of this or a little bit of that, and I'm not gonna track it, or I'll have this and I'm not gonna track it. And it's kind of that fit. It's something that it's like I just explained it then, of saying, oh, I'm not gonna track it, or I'm not gonna do this. I don't even have the comprehension of thinking I'm gonna do this and I'm not gonna track it. It just happens. And I think that's the thing that I find most confusing, and it probably sounds really strange. If anybody has any kind of similar experiences, do let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's the thing that I'm trying to just bring more awareness to myself in terms of like how I eat and the amounts I eat, and just try and really strengthen my mind and the power I have over my mind, and just be in the driving seat. Because sometimes I'll do things, and I do believe it's some kind of deep-rooted behavior or deep-rooted sort of like pattern of how things happen. And then I think there's also some coping mechanisms, or something there that potentially it's like used to compensate for something else. I don't know. So that's it. But anyway, it's absolutely freezing, so I'm gonna go get really comfy on the couch now, get a blanket and just get stuck in. And like I said, it is quite text heavy, and I don't want to I don't want to just basically sit and read a book at you, because I don't think that would be very productive. But like I said, if it does sound like it's somewhere relating to how you're feeling, do get yourself a copy, let me know, and we can have a little book club, like, and have some, you know, form of support or something. You're totally welcome to order it and not tell me or whatever also. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try, my aim is to wake up nice and early with enough time to read a couple of pages of this in the morning with a coffee or whatever, and then any time that I have a little bit extra time, sit down and just have a couple of hours reading through. But that's the plan. Yeah, it's absolutely freezing, so I'm gonna go get snuggly on the couch and do a bit of reading for a while. Now 4 o'clock. I gave myself like a time to aim to read until, which was very, very easy because that book is amazing. So insightful. I'm already feeling like I'm kind of understanding myself a little bit more. In this sort of like first chapter, it's spoken about, I think they call it like a DBT, emotions regulator, and it gives you sort of case study examples of when people have turned to food and they don't necessarily understand the emotions and things involved in the time, but it gives you kind of like a diagram. I might insert a picture here so that you can see what I'm referring to, but it'll sort of like, it's given like case studies into 3 different scenarios where people have sort of eaten or overeaten, and then they've kind of questioned why, but then going back and sort of looking at the emotions involved, it makes so much sense. And it's also spoken about how people are sometimes like biologically made to sort of like, they're just wired in a way where food will work a lot differently, and it's a lot more intense. And I am such an intensely emotional person, and for a long time I've like really disliked the fact that Floss is crying because she wants a treat. I'll get you one in a minute, babe. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, it's like I will have a feeling or something will happen and I feel like it affects me a lot more than it would do somebody else, and it takes me like ages to get over something. So yeah, it goes into a lot about emotions, emotional states, how that can affect you, and it's just, so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm finding it awesome. It's absolutely freezing, so I've just thrown a hoodie on and I'm just about to make myself a pucker peppermint and licorice tea. I've got a little bit of work I need to do now, so I'm gonna do that. Jim's actually out working today. He had a delivery to do, so I'm not too sure what time he should be home. So I'm just gonna have this tea, hopefully warm up the cockles a bit, because oh my god, it's cold. I feel like it's been sort of steadily getting more colder over the last sort of couple of weeks, but today it feels very wintry. Yeah, it's bloody freezing. So hopefully this nice warm cup of tea will warm me up a little bit. I did have a mint matcha green I've been drinking that over the last hour or so. Still nice and full from my lunch. And I've popped in the red lentil dal that I'm going to have for tea. But yeah, not feeling super hungry right now. It's just blowing my mind how sort of I feel like my mind's just been blown wide open from them first, you know, few pages. So I'm super excited to continue doing it, and this is something that I really need to work on, is sort of the continuity of things. I need to stick to it, so I'm going to really try very hard. I'm going to make that one of the most important things that I do. It does actually speak a little bit about weight loss and how it doesn't recommend following like kind of like a weight loss plan alongside it. It says to try and do that first of all, and then like work through the workbook and then do that. But I obviously am still gonna stick to sort of like my weight loss plan as well, and just see how it goes. But yeah, I'm gonna go crack on with some work now. So it is now 6 o'clock. I have just been working for the last couple of hours, and Jim should hopefully be home within like the next 30 minutes. So I am gonna crack on and make the lentil dal. Dal was chef's kiss as usual, so super tasty, love it every single time, very yummy. And I have just made myself a little dessert. So as I was saying earlier, I've got some of the Cocos organic natural coconut milk yogurt. It's so good. I cannot even tell. If you really like sort of like the coconut style flavour or coconut, you'll love it. It's so good. And then I've also added some strawberry and almond crunch by M&S on the side. This is insanely tasty. I really like it. So I thought, I haven't done this in a while, but I thought I would go through what I've had today and the calories. I haven't input like my glass of water or my green tea or my licorice tea because it's 0 calories. So let me just grab up my app. I use NutriCheck for those of you who don't know what I use to log my food. So for breakfast I had a coffee with semi-skimmed milk, and I had a Actimel. For lunch I had the omelette bacon tortilla. I'm going to have to come up for a good name for that because it was so good. And then for dinner I had the HelloFresh red lentil and spinach dal. Snacks, I've literally just popped in my dessert as my snacks. Something that I also have done recently is add my exercise calories into my app. So basically my Apple Watch syncs with my NutriCheck app. So it records all of my steps and exercise. I obviously haven't like gone to the gym or anything today, but apparently I have walked 3.5 miles, done 13 flights of stairs, and done 7,592 steps. And what that does, down at the bottom, it gives you your exercise calories on top of your daily goal. I'm not going to try and like use these all the time because I just think it's good to help balance out and create that deficit. But for instance, now I've gone over by 15 calories. My goal is 1,500. I've gone over by 15 calories, which is nothing. However, if I'd have done that before and then gone to my week view, I would have got a red cross for that, and I think that's pretty ridiculous. So I do think that that is gonna work out a little bit better. So I'm going to end today's video here. I'm very blurry. Why am I very blurry? There we go. I'm gonna end today's video here. I have decided going forward, I think I'm gonna film a day in advance and then upload the next day, just because I don't have to like spend all of my evening editing and uploading. I can do it the next day, get that uploaded for like a reasonable time, like 4 or 5 o'clock, and it just works out better. So I think going forward that's what I'm gonna do. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, I would super appreciate if you hit subscribe, and if you want to keep up to date with my videos when they go live, if you click the notification bell, you'll get a notification. And until next time, stay happy, healthy and well. Bye.